new road. We start out on this new road. No turning back. But we have our ancestors with us. We're going to continue to dance with them. Dreaming them. Calling them. Being them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of the Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They plan their lives according to the heavens. Well versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night sky thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world. Planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always, they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set a fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with, is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's a fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs. They still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive and well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Fakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit.
Hi, I'm Kalina. Today I'm using Upwork to hire a WordPress developer to rebuild my e-com website. Upwork has
straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier. As these days unfold, I feel my soul growing cold. 20-something years of age, yet I'm feeling so old. Knowing what the future holds, we're played like hoes. Most souls are controlled by a billfold. See, I was never told that this game wouldn't stay the same. I'm just trying to maintain, stay sane. Swimming through this Alizé, yet the pain still remains like a stain. With nothing to lose, there's all to gain. This is my train of thought, since it was brought out of fantasy into reality. Really learning truth is truthfully agony of the ecstasy. And many are free from the mental penitentiary. Purposely, perfectly put into place to prevent us from prevailing against prejudiced politicians who pretend to do all they can for people of the land. I said fuck Uncle Sam. Besides a war man, I could never understand why we back a beast who has us fighting wars to make his pockets obese. The only war that should be fought is the war for peace. Till then our adversities will never cease. Hidden societies won't be pleased till we're all deceased or on our knees. Man-made disease and killer police run loose on my peeps. It seems as if I'm the only one who sees the cheese being placed by the cat to trap the rap, which is us. Debaters lust for currency, but buddy money don't matter this century. Straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier. 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 Guerrilleros antiguos con influencias celestiales, representando los animales, jaguares de todos los lugares.
lugares y direcciones se ven las manifestaciones de un pasado no todavía olvidado. Ten cuidado que mi destino todavía no se ha realizado. Por eso sigo la ruta de mi antepasado. Cuauhtémoc, rey guerrillero, águila antigua que representa la vida. Energía positiva vale más y dentro de mis venas corre la sangre del pasado. Heredero de los conocimientos secretos y propiedades mágicas de la naturaleza. Antigua creencia sobre la ciencia y conexiones naturales con todos los animales. Todo esto lo llevo dentro, por eso sigo el procedimiento del viento. Zapatista, indígena, maya, mexica, mi tribu es cotija. Straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier.
Straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier.
Straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier.
Straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier. Descend from my place in the stars, spitting 16 bars. Half Quetzal, half Jaguar, my lyrics hit hard like a comet through earth, resurrect through birth. When I open my eyes, I realize that life hurts. Twists and turns as the fire burns, and the stones are placed, clearing a place in space for my lineage to be placed, and the cycle begins again. If you raise them right, you'll live through your children. Let truth be your medicine, and always respect the womb of men.
Straight coming at ya, spiritual soldier.
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 El Indians podcast, Las Aslan Native podcast. What's cracking lacking? Zero.
What up, community? What's up, chat?
The chat is lit right now, man. You know, and you know, we already have a comment talking about, you know, prayers for LA.
Absolutely.
There's certain areas of LA right now that are engulfed in flames. As we were getting into the studio, there's ashes everywhere. It smells like heavy smoke out here in downtown LA, right?
Yeah, I live in East Los Angeles, and I smelled it there. If I smelled it there, I was like, whoa, it's either close, which there's a fire in Pasadena, which isn't too far from East LA. And then obviously we have the Malibu fires or the coastal fire.
So there's two fires.
I think there's one in Pasadena.
Yeah, one in Pasadena, Altadena area, right?
Well, according to the last, social media thing, I think there's 7 different areas that are affected with fire.
I just saw a very strange video that's been circulating on social media regarding these fires, right, Zero? And I just trip out what people do for social media. There's a video here that we posted on Underground Hip Hop Blog, and
I seen that.
Bro, this fool's house is surrounded by fire, yet he's inside
filming.
I mean, did he not get the warning to get the fuck out? Because people are asking, did he survive? What's going on? Because as far as I know, dog, if that fire, I don't know. I feel like if that fire was engulfing the entire house, I'm sure they're not around.
Well, I mean, those flames seem like, oh wow, look, there's just fire, but the heat is probably pushing in. They probably feel the heat right away where he's at, and he's filming it. I mean, I'm sure he seems like a smart person. There's probably a way out, but what's happening there is kind of why I think the natives that are from this area never set up shop there for 30 years and never move. I mean, that's what you do when you build on those hills. These hills are meant to collect the brush. It's all kinds of wild, foliage there. And no one takes care of it. So it's going to dry up. So fires were probably common during that time when the original people were the inhabitants, the Tongvas, the Chumash, the Quiche, all the original California tribes probably really weren't around during this time because they knew big fires would happen. And they definitely wouldn't put a structure that couldn't be moved or taken down. We didn't really live in that kind of fashion.
And it's funny how you mentioned that, because a lot of people are questioning, like, why do people even fucking live out there?
Yeah. You know what was weird to me?
Because the cities decide to give out permits to contractors to profit off those lands.
And these individuals really don't know how nature works, obviously. Me and my buddy Robin were having a lengthy discussion today. Shout out to Robin. And yeah, we had some good points about certain topics. And one of these topics was, you know, what's happening up there in Malibu. And, you know, what was interesting to me was when it got gridlock. I don't know if you've seen that post where the cars were gridlocked getting out of Palisades. And then they had to just abandon the car.
Yeah, I saw that. Just lines of cars.
Okay. How much is your car?
Like 15,000.
15, 20,000. If you had to get gridlocked, of course, if your life's at stake, you're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see Teslas, fucking Mercedes. I mean, these are very, very expensive vehicles. Just fuck it. I'm out. That's how wealthy these people were. Because, you know, if it was us, we were trying to fucking back it up, move the car out the fucking way. We were saving our car because we can't afford to buy another one.
Yeah. And it's funny how you mentioned that because when people mention Pacific Palisades, people don't give a fuck because these people could afford buying a new home or buying a fucking ranch.
Well, you know what happened.
Do you feel me? Or their insurance is going to cover it, right? That's if
for some.
Policies.
Because I've heard some
a lot
stories.
of policies are getting canceled. Yeah.
Well, a lot of policies were canceled prior to this. So that's another topic that we were.
All these insurance companies are just
finish
leaving
off,
California, right?
Right. But to finish off the topic of the cars. So what ends up happening is that the fucking fire department gets a bulldozer and goes right in the middle of them. So it damaged every single car that was left behind. Teslas. I mean, brand new.
I saw that. Yeah. The bulldozer had to move them.
Yeah, brand. I mean, these are very expensive cars. I mean, if you scratch one of them, they make a big deal. But they just left them abandoned. And then the size of the homes that they were burning down, they were huge. Like, 8-bedroom houses, mansions. And this is why you don't build. I guess this is why the people, the original inhabitants of this area, the Tongbas, the Quiche, the Chumash, and anybody else I forgot. Maybe that's why they didn't put permanent structures there. And see, when you leave structures there, yeah, you'll get away with it for a while, but eventually it's going to come and just, in one day, gone. I heard all of downtown Pacific Palisades is gone. Pacific Palisades High School, gone.
There it is. That's the video. That's the bulldozer right there.
There you go, see? And it's plowing through like these $100,000 cars, dude. Or $80,000 cars, because those Teslas aren't cheap.
Hey, dog. All the people driving those fucking cars are idiots to even think they could get away with living out there in Mother Nature.
Dude.
Like, seriously. It's only those people who decide to fucking live up there.
Well, I mean, it was...
The people that are fucking millionaires and worth 20 million, 30 billion,
I mean, there was a lot of actors there. And that's another thing. Like, the people being affected...
Don't get me wrong. If you lost your house and you're a millionaire, hey, dog, sorry. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that... See, this is what me and Robin were talking about, is that we were going to get into a dilemma where you have individuals who probably do have insurance, but they just don't have a house now, and they probably lost everything they owned. All of their clothes, all of their shoes, all of their jewelry, all of everything. Whatever they were able to get out, that's what happened. Another reason why colonialism and nature really don't mix. Colonialism is to acquire things and keep them for as long as you can.
Bro, this is such an embarrassing video, bro. If you really look at it, right, Zero?
Well, I mean, it's just wealthy people at one point having a struggle. I mean, fire, that type of fire, that big fire, will burn everything you own. Even if you are a rich millionaire, fucking actor or whatever, it'll burn it to the ground. All your memories, all your photos, your fucking whatever. It's gone. And that's why I feel like, the ancient practice, I think there was a practice where every certain amount of years they would break everything and burn it. So they wouldn't have this attachment to things. Right? And I believe me, I feel for anyone who loses everything in that way. This is not what the topic is. The topic is you have to be intelligent to live on Mother Earth. You have to make decisions that don't appease your happiness, like your ego. Oh, wow, I should build my house right here, right on this point right here. You know what I mean? Like right here. When you don't know how dangerous it is as the weather changes and as foliages grow.
Are you against cabins?
I think that,
like, sometimes if you want a second home and people think, hey, I could just move the Big Bear, have a second home, a cabin.
As you get older and you live in the Red Road and you walk this indigenous ways, it seems like the things that you own are less and less. You know what I mean? And the ones that kind of lose it and have a hard time are those that are like, I heard a story from an individual who's 90 years old. Everything that he ever worked for, ever had, he wasn't very wealthy, but his home was there, is gone. And he's talking about rebuilding. I could rebuild my life. What I'm trying to say is that, as I get older, I feel like I have to have less. Even though I accumulate a lot, which I haven't recently, but I have accumulated a lot before in my life, money-wise, property-wise, whatever, music-wise. As I got older, it just got less and less and less. And I got less interested in acquiring this type of stuff. It was more about how I can help and impact my community and myself, my family, my children. And this is why we're going to have a dilemma in the sense that going, oh, wow, like the rich people's house is burned, right? And then you're like, oh, wow, you're a dick, you don't care. They're human too, right? They lost their shit too, right? But the moral dilemma, the moral whirlwind that we're going to go into is, do they care when we get evicted from here? How many families get evicted a day from apartments, houses? There's homeless problem up, how does Los Angeles look right now just because of the homeless problem, right? These people not having houses is a sad story. But people not having houses for years is another story. So this is the moral dilemma that we're going to face as humanity, right? Because the rich are eventually going to hit the wall where everyone warned them, don't build your house there. Eventually it's going to fall or burn.
Yeah, it seems like the richer you are, the closer to the cliff you want to move to.
Right.
Yeah,
like
weird,
even look up like San Pedro. There's a whole city in San Pedro that's kind of sinking. Right? Because they built their houses where they weren't supposed to be built. And they didn't build like a little shack or a cabin like you're suggesting. Because I think that's kind of cool, like a little small house. You don't have a big family.
Yeah, and build it out of wood.
Give
it
a good view.
Build it out of the resources that are there.
Yeah, don't build a fucking huge ass mansion and have fucking 2 RVs and 3 cars, and the weight that's happening on that cliff isn't used to carrying that kind of weight. And then this other neighbor gets the same thing, and now you have a weight problem, and the ground starts to give way. And so this is why you don't build these things there. I think if I'm speaking to the LA Natives community, which I don't think anybody aspires to be this wealthy or want to live in areas in that way, but if you do, remember that Mother Nature, it doesn't care when it needs to clear with a brush. It doesn't care how many memories you have there.
And it doesn't care how much these private firefighters charge, because a lot of these wealthy people thought that those private firefighters would have saved their houses. The ones that are
no.
There's an elite class in society that like hire private firefighters because they can't rely on the city or state firefighters, and they couldn't even save their homes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's just
like the elite think, hey, just spend more money, the problem will go away. Right?
It's not.
But fighting Mother Nature, it will never go away. You know?
It's not that. It's Mother Nature is unpredictable because we can deal with the fire in that area fairly quickly. And those elite firefighters, those private firefighters, they may be effective, but not when there's 100-mile winds going on at the same time.
They're not going to die for you. They'll take your money, though. You know,
they'll take your money. They'll try their best to save the house.
They'll try their best.
If there's no water, what they're going to do? They're going to put their hands up and go.
And that was another issue I heard, that a lot of the
no water.
fire hydrants don't even have water.
Yeah, they didn't have water. There was no water pumped in that area for some reason. I mean, I don't know if it's a conspiracy of like, you know, burning down the hills, but regardless of a conspiracy, regardless of anything, Mother Nature and elements will claim something. It's kind of like a flood, right? When a flood comes through, it just claims it. It's just like a natural fucking phenomenon, a natural disaster. That's what they call it. It claims things. The elements that we live in, the environment that we live in, it claims things. It goes, this area is mine now. And it just does it. And this is why we need to observe nature, walk with nature, have a connection with nature, so we don't run into these issues where we know that Mother Nature is going to clear this area. At one point, it's going to get cleared. It's just that when you're multimillionaire, you feel like, it's not going to happen to me, and it's not going to happen in my lifetime. You know?
Like the internet that's filming himself getting engulfed in flames. You know, it's not going to get in.
I don't know. Those were pretty big. You look at it on a screen, but when you actually feel it, like when you feel that heat hit you, it's like, I know this because, you know, sometimes we're on stages, right? And some pyros go off. Or I've been on stages where like big artists and their pyros go off, like a big flame comes. Dude, that's fucking really hot. Like I feel it on the side of the stage, you know? So imagine that. That's probably felt like, I know he was feeling that heat. Those windows were a little bit, they're probably going to burst in a few minutes. You know what I mean? It wasn't just the fire. It was the fire with the wind. It was the fire with the wind and the lack of water. It's all that perfect storm. It's kind of like a moral dilemma that we're going to have because, of course, people are going to feel bad that someone lost everything they had. But, you know, and then they look at their bank account and they're like, oh, well, like I got $5 million. So, you know what I mean? These people were not poor. And that shouldn't matter. And it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the ability to recover will be a lot less for individuals like that versus an immigrant family that came and only been here for 9 months and all they have is what they have in their apartment and their apartment building burns down. They don't have shit. They don't have no bank account. They don't have anything. Or recently what's happening in Bakersfield, Armando, they did like an ice raid.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they took a lot of people. And I guess they have like 2 days to like, so from what I understood on the social media post, like you can look it up, like the ice raid in not San Bernardino, ice raid in Bakersfield. And so this, you know, I hear that some of the ladies like, oh my God, they picked up my husband in the raid and I don't know where he is. And so like they just take him, they don't tell him anything. Like they don't, like there's no way to get a hold of anyone once you get caught by this raid. And they have like 42 hours and you have to call a special ICE hotline. And it sounds eerily like a kidnapping. Because they don't have to give information and there's a hotline and pretty soon there'll be an app. Imagine, Armando, if you had to track somebody down, but you had to download an app first. And talk to the app. You couldn't call someone and say, hey, you know what? Someone's missing. It's more like, oh no, you got to download this app. I mean, that's what it sounds like. But he's not even inaugurated yet, and they're already starting to do it. So this just needs to be put to awareness for our community.
Trying to get this on.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of strange how they're already.
And that it seemed like a pretty big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way the individual was explaining how to get information, they're going to have like one for kids. So if your kid goes to school...
Days, reports of a surge in raids of undocumented residents have been circulating on social media. 17's Jenny Hutt joins us now live in studio with the details. Jenny?
Bakersfield Police tells us they were notified by the Department of Homeland Security and Border Patrol that they would be conducting operations in Kern County this week.
What we're hearing is that CBP pulling cars over and profiling folks. They're reported being seen at like the most transient site for farm workers.
CBP is Customs and Border Protection. Sightings of Border Patrol activities is being reported all over Kern County, from Maricopa to the downtown Gap bus station, even door to door and on freeways. But this Chevron off 7 Standard and Merle Haggard saw arrests firsthand.
Well, we usually get our normal people in here coming in. They buy their food, they go to work, and they were field workers. And as soon as they paid their food and everything, they went outside. And as soon as they went outside, they grabbed them. They started taking their belongings. They were all laughing while their food was getting thrown away.
They, as in Border Patrol agents. Employee Candy Garcia tells 17 News. Garcia says the agents, many undercover, parked right outside and took away 2 vanfuls of people. She says they'll likely be back
because they were here doing that yesterday at McDonald's.
She and the gas station owners say it's no coincidence the agents targeted their Chevron.
And none of the other stores got hit except for this one because it's like the bigger one. This is where almost everybody comes in.
99% they are farmer workers. They are my regular customer, my regular bread and butter.
Dylan says it's to the extent that most of the food he serves is Mexican cuisine.
What happened today, it is the first time I hear it. I'm a permanent legal person. And I'm scared too.
If they looked Hispanic.
Whoa, hey dog, that's fucking real. Like, yo, I'm a legal resident, but I'm terrified because these colonizers are at it again, right?
Well, I think
when she refused.
I mean, that sounds kind of intense. You know, waiting around a liquor store. I mean, not a liquor store, but whatever that was, a truck stop or whatever the fuck that was. Picking up, you know, what's going to be, where is this transition going? You know, because they're doing a bunch of shit. Like, they're...
even Facebook caved in. Remember, I just said, you know, Mark Zuckerberg now is all for free speech. He's like obviously leaning towards the right, all for Trump now. Like, hey, dog, like, you know, I always knew social media was a scam and they have their own narrative. But obviously, Zuckerberg just made it clear that, hey, we've been purposely censoring shit that we personally don't believe in, which is bullshit, right? Like, it should be a public forum.
But these are third-party things. They're like, it's like you're asking a lot from a third-party company.
Yep.
That has its own, you know, when you build a corporation, you make your own rules. This is the policies that we follow, you know, and yeah, they get, you know, pushed a little bit through the public opinion. And I could see how he can make that adjustment, but it's not going to be a crazy adjustment where they're like, oh yeah, anything goes there. It's not Reddit, you know, it's not something that's like almost non-censored, right? There's always going to be restrictions. There's always going to be a back door to something. What's interesting, though, about the raid is that how they were being treated. People throwing away food, not caring about this individual, not going, hey, you know.
They were just treating them like a criminal.
exactly. But this type of criminal is different because they're not going to be able to get a phone call. They're not. They have different rules for, like, they're not being arrested. They're being deported, right? That's the point of ICE. It's not to arrest you. It's to deport you. When you get arrested, you immediately get an ability to call someone and say, hey, I'm arrested. I'm at this jail. This is my bond. Come and get me out. But when you're being deported, it's different rules. You're not going to find out about that individual till he goes through the process of being deported. And then whatever facility they fucking take him to, and however long it takes him to go across the border. So it's a different process. He's not being arrested. He's being deported. Very different. I mean, same kind of feeling. I'm sure you still go to jail and stuff like that, but the information given about the individual is different than when you get arrested. When you get arrested, you immediately can call someone. When you get deported, I don't know if you get those rights.
Right. Now, they're claiming that they're going to go after the criminals first, the illegal aliens, apparently.
They didn't sound like, those people didn't sound like criminals.
They didn't sound like criminals to me, right? They just sounded like dudes who just wanted to work, found opportunity, and took advantage of it. Hey, because this is what this country's all about, bro. Like, you know, there's fucking work that other people don't want to do.
Yeah.
Straight up, right? And who owns all these fucking lands anyways?
But remember, last podcast we talked about how we're in a new technical revolution, right? You try to piece the puzzle together. So you're like, why are they attacking farm workers? Farm workers fucking pick all the crops, right? But if he's having big meetings with like people like Jeffrey Bezos, who has robotics companies working.
And Jeff Bezos is currently buying farmland.
See, they have a plan for how to pick that fruit, and it's not going to be migrant workers anymore. It'll probably be like a mechanic tech thing.
It'll be a robot.
Yeah, a robot, whatever. And well, I don't know if there's going to be robots, but they'll invent a machine that just goes, and takes everything, and it's a computer, and it's all AI ran, and all that kind of stuff. And so they can go, okay, well, now we can attack these because we don't need them as workers no more. Right? There's so many crazy things that are shifting, like even Canada. You know, Canada and North and Mexico are kind of like either pulling away from the US and the US is trying to absorb them, right? This is why all of the stuff is like a puzzle. You have to put it all together where it's like, why are they allowing Israel to go so far? Right? Is it going to be implemented everywhere now? Are we going to have that approach with everyone and everything when it comes to people not wanting to leave or borders no longer being recognized? Is this whole planet going under an occupation? Right? Because when you are put to the International Court of Law, this is where they did the Hindenburg trials, right? The Nazi Hindenburg trials was done in the court, in the ICU. What's it called? The ICU?
Yep.
They put out an arrest warrant for the leader of that area. It's like issued. And the US is like, well, we're not going to enforce it. That's like someone, imagine us going back in time, right? What would your reaction be, Armando, if I told you, oh yeah, the International Court just convicted Hitler and the US said, we're not going to recognize it. He can come here. He can come here and live. He can come here and do whatever he needs to do, but we're not going to arrest him. Like, well, what kind of outrage would that cause? Yet we let this individual who's murdering children, bro. Murdering. I seen this one post, man, where this soldier's going, oh, we just bombed this, house right here. Yeah, there was 12 people there. 8 of them were kids. There was 12 people there. 8 of them were kids. That means it was 4 adults taking care of these 8 kids, and they fucking bombed it. And he was smiling and laughing. This is a weird reality we're starting to live in now, because growing up as a kid, when you talked about the Holocaust, you heard stories that were horrible. Now you're hearing these stories, and they're worse. They're worse than the stories of that time because the technology has advanced.
Well, they just put out a statement, the Border Patrol, 3 hours ago, saying the U.S. Border Patrol conducts targeted enforcement arrests of individuals involved in smuggling throughout our areas of operation as part of our efforts to dismantle trafficking.
And this explained the Bakersfield raid?
Yeah. Of course they would fucking put out a statement like that.
But the way it's interesting because it mirrors what happened in Nazi Germany. Because what happened in Nazi Germany is that Hitler started using his own population to police whatever they didn't want around, which was Jewish people at the time.
Well, remember, NASA was created by, I believe, Nazis.
Yeah, all the leftover
all the leftover scientists that were obviously scared for their lives over there because they lost the war.
Uh-huh.
The smart ones stayed alive, right?
Well, this is the weird.
And apparently, you know, the head guy was a Nazi.
I saw this documentary once where they said that Hitler didn't die, that the U.S. helped him escape, and then they went to Argentina, and that he lived the rest of his life.
A lot of people recognized him.
Yeah,
a lot of people stay. Hey, yeah, he was living over there.
And that there's
he just lived a regular old life, you know.
Yeah, and that there was a whole German-speaking city, like in Argentina, and that's what they said, that all the major officers went, and all the people that were supposed to get in trouble, they all went to.
What was the story that he committed suicide? He shot himself.
Yeah, he shot himself and then burned or something, and they found his teeth or whatever, and that girl's teeth or whatever. Ava, I think her name was Ava something. Anyways, it mirrors what happened there, and I'm glad that you started bringing up the Nazi thing and the NASA, because it seems like we just repeat these cycles of time. Because during that time, you're developing these sciences, and they're trying to, Nazi scientists were into rocket propulsion. They wanted to go into space or whatever. And they took, once Germany ended, Nazi Germany ended, and then they went into the U.S. because they pretty much got confiscated by the U.S. government. And they said, now you work for us. They just continued the research on rocket propulsion. But at the same time, sci-fi was happening. Comic books. And I don't know if you know this, but do you know of a person named L. Ron Hubbard?
Mm-mm.
L. Ron Hubbard was the founder of Scientology. But he's also good friends with the person who discovered NASA. I forgot his name. But they were occultists. And they used, rituals and all kinds of things to kind of communicate to things or whatever they did, whatever their pedo was. But I know that L. Ron Hubbard was before he was the founder of Scientology, he used to write comic books, sci-fi comic books that they were like, oh, aliens came and they invaded the earth. And so he was already like a creative writer, but in sci-fi. And so now he meets up with this Derek Von something. Do you know the name of the dude that started NASA?
It says right here, Warner von Braun.
There you go, Warner von Braun.
That's clearly a German name, dude.
Yeah. Warner von Braun.
Yeah, he's the fucking American innovator that created NASA. Get the fuck out of here,
Well, I mean, they created a story. This is what I'm trying to get at. They created a story that could be put with science. So it's like science fiction, right? They created a story.
And you're saying this story was probably...
It was written
years ago.
Probably from like, you got to remember, L. Ron Hubbard was a sci-fi comic book writer. So his stories are probably like, and then you mix it in with the rituals and you mix it in with like science. And now you have a good stew of, all we got to do is exaggerate this and exaggerate that. Okay. Me and my buddy Robin were talking today, and shout out to Robin again. And he said, you know that our body, he made a great point. He's like, our body's an earth body. Like our body is connected to the earth. It's connected to the earth through gravity. It's connected to the earth through electrical impulse. It's connected to the earth element wise, like we have water, fire, wind, and earth. That's what makes up our body. Our organic being is an earth body. If you were to take this earth body and propel it into a space that no longer is connected through gravity, the elements, they can't last forever. So the ship can't make water. You know what I mean? Water comes from a process that happens on Earth. So then, if we go back to people who write stories, mix it with ritual and science, then you can get this fabrication of what we can do. And all you got to do is make things or make visuals to convince the public that you can do it. But you really can't live as a human body outside of a human planet.
And wasn't this around the time where like the whole television?
Right.
Like I guess it was like the first years of like televisions being in every home in America.
Right. Before that,
they had to watch something.
Before
right?
that,
there was something you had to fucking show for people to be glued to that fucking television.
Right. And it's the same thing with cell phones. It's the same thing with books prior to television and prior to radio. It was books.
Because it was a big deal to have a TV back then, you know?
Yeah, but the information that they could tell on it, like it's not okay. So we're going back to people who know how to write stories and science fiction stories about the universe and stars and aliens, and because these individuals, when they were kids, used to go to the movie theater and they would make movies about alien invasions and this and that and the other. So if you get good at writing a story, then you use ritualistic practices that allow you to see things. I don't know what you see, but let's just say in altered states and in that type of environment, you get to talk and see things. Right? So now you have that element, and now you have science, and you have individuals who have credibility with science backing up all this fictional story. Because, I mean, NASA has a huge ass budget. Huge ass budget. Like it almost has an unlimited budget. To what? To what? To forget how to go to the moon again? Because apparently when TV barely came out, you had all the technology to go to the fucking moon.
This shit...
Not only did they have the technology...
Did this not look like a set, though?
Armando, let's think about it logically, because we already know that technology has advanced so far, right? That, okay.
Now, the rockets were real, maybe, right? Like, I'm sure the rockets were real.
I'm sure they went pretty high. I mean, but... you're trying to penetrate, I think, Van Allen belts, ozones. Like if the heat is, when you come into this atmosphere and it conducts heat, well, if you're going fast and you're trying to break through these layers, don't you also conduct heat? And so you're going to invent something that protects your human body that's connected to water, air, fire, earth. You're going to create some sort of a vessel.
And from the looks of it, it was made out of aluminum foil.
I mean,
like, let's be real, right?
It's only going to be the production quality of whatever you had at the time, the technology. Whatever technology. We had TV technology. We had movie technology, but it wasn't like the movies that we see today. 4 HD, fucking high resolution. It's nothing like that. It was all tech. It was all beginner fucking TV, beginner. I don't even think it was color TV. Color TV came in the like late 60s, early 70s. So tell me this. How the fuck do we have the technology to go to the moon? Not only do we have the technology to go to the moon, but we also have a technology where the president of the United States calls the guy on the moon. Do you ever see that? Where he's like, oh, what's up? Hey, wow, great landing. All right, cool. So they have that type of technology where they have, and then they lost it. So again, I'm going to reference people who write stories, who write fiction. They mix it with ritual, science. You get these educated individuals who have PhDs and says, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we could do that. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you're trying to go to another planet, like Elon Musk is trying to go to another planet, bro, and let's say you do go through the fucking thing, and you do have a ship that can regenerate water infinitely, and it can regenerate gravity infinitely, and it can regenerate heat and air infinitely. You have to create a ship that does that. And then enter an atmosphere of another planet, which is going to cause some sort of a heat, which Mars, if you're from Mars, you have to have a Mars body. Whatever elements that are on that planet have to make you. We can't come from another area and another planet without the, or we're an organic body of the earth, man. How can we take and invent a ship that's going to take us to another planet that has totally different temperatures, totally different moon cycles, totally different gravities, totally different water sources, totally different everything, and expect our human body to adapt to that immediately?
Anomalies. The strange case of the lunar shadows.
The shadows are one of the strong proofs that we never went to the moon. If you examine pictures offered by NASA as genuine, you find that in many cases the shadows are not parallel. Well, since the sun was the only source of light, all shadows on the moon should be exactly parallel, but they aren't.
Because the lunar shadows fall in different directions, some conspiracy theorists claim that they were created by separate artificial light sources.
There's only one sun. There are not two. But these shadows are anomalous in that sometimes they are diverging from objects and sometimes converging. And it can't be. You can go any place on this planet when the sun's up and you look at two objects and those sun shadows are parallel.
That's fucking nuts right there, dude.
It's just that lazy people,
they just thought they could get away with it, right?
Well, they thought, oh,
like,
wow,
look, come on, bro.
We're always gonna have black and white TV. We're always gonna have black. They didn't think about the future technology advancing, right? And what I mean by that is the TV, not the way to get to the moon. And then after a certain amount of time, people are going to analyze that. You're going to have experts about things, and they're going to go, hey, that doesn't make sense. Why is that shadow there? Why?
Now, do you remember this apparent iconic picture?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The American flag. Of fucking course, dude, right? Well, the whole point was to just put that American flag there. Okay, our job is done. Right?
Yeah, but there's nothing that came out of it. No wisdom came out of it. No minerals came out of it. Nothing came out of it. Just an ability to say that we were there, which brings me back to people who write
We beat
stories.
the Russians. We beat the Russians. They sent the monkey up there, but we took it a step further. We went to the moon.
They're all liars, man. They all lie.
I believe that the Russians took a monkey up there, bro. Like,
I'm sure things orbit the planet. but I don't know if they actually go into space, and that starts getting into a science fiction. But if you have enough ritual and enough scholars to say that it's true, then people will believe it. Like I really believe, like it made sense what Robin said. You have to have an Earth body to be on Earth. You have to have a Mars body to be on Mars. You can't go and expect to acclimate to Mars like instantly.
Look at that capsule right there. You really think that capsule would exist in 2024 in Hollywood?
Oh, I'm
Fuck
sure.
no, right?
I'm sure that
you pinpointed it. They were using what they had at the time,
right?
When it comes to resources, like in the 50s, in the 60s, shit wasn't as cool as they are today, right?
Well, no, they just didn't have.
When it comes to props or graphics and cinematography,
it's the same thing with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So in that time, we had individuals like L. Ron Hubbard and Vance von Buren?
Von Braun, yeah.
Yeah, von Braun. Anyways, we had those individuals that came up with a certain narrative, put some scholars behind it, and then put some real science behind it. Jet propulsion. I'm not saying rockets don't exist.
Right.
I'm not saying that they can't go far.
But in the 50s and 60s, you really think this thing that looks like it's made out of aluminum foil was holding fucking astronauts and keeping them alive for days at a time.
Right, and going through different temperatures.
Right.
And
this fucking contraption, whatever the fuck this thing was that they built.
But
they claim that's the moon right there. I don't know. I just don't believe that in the 50s and 60s, this shit existed,
And also the story, like the whole fucking president calling them while they're there. Like, hey, what's up? You guys, how you guys doing? Good landing or whatever the fuck they were trying to say. We don't know.
Even Ironhide says it looks like paper mache. Yet that was the technology that was used to take grown men into fucking space and the grounds of the moon.
Now, the reason we're bringing this up is because it's kind of a similar situation happening now, where you have
in politics today,
where you have an individual who's just as influential as von Braun or whatever the fuck his name is. The leader of NASA.
Yeah, von Braun.
He's the new version of that individual because there's a story behind him, right? He's a billionaire. He's a genius. He's gonna solve us from.
He invented the electric car.
He's gonna save us from all of the global warming and like us humans have an ability to go, yeah, we're done with the earth. We're going to go do something else somewhere else. It's like, how arrogant is that? Like, if you're going to put any billions of dollars, is not to leave the earth, is to teach people how to live with the earth. You live on this planet still. It's not a wasted piece of trash. It's not a wadded up hamburger fucking wrapper that you just toss away as a one-time use. It's earth. It's beautiful mountains. It's beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrises. You don't do away with that. You don't go try to look for something else without giving the proper respects that you get here, that you give here. We're here. We're from here. We don't want to go anywhere else but here. I don't want to go nowhere else but my Mother Earth, who gave me everything. It gave me love. It gave me sadness. It gave me joy. It gives me all the experiences I've ever wanted. I never want to leave it. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, you guys are crazy to think that there's something better than the mother that gave you everything you have now. You wouldn't even be a fucking billionaire if you didn't have her. This is the story we have to try to confront.
This is what they want right here on Mars. Boom.
Like, that's going to be preferable to the life that you have here. Right? Like, we
fucking living in goddamn capsules and shit.
But, that's, and see this, It's another
colossal feat be achieved, and when might we witness this historic leap? Could you be among the first Martians?
I mean, I hope we are out there on Mars and maybe beyond Mars, the moons of Jupiter. I hope we're traveling frequently throughout the solar system, perhaps preparing for missions to nearby star systems. I think all of this is possible within 50 years. And I think
fuck. That right there tells me everything that he's fucking lying.
Within 50 years.
50 years. Like, come on, bro. You're fucking silly, dude.
Locking mysteries of the cosmos. Imagine fleets of spacecraft shuttling between Earth and Mars, transforming the red planet into a bustling hub of human activity. But the burning question remains, how might we turn this bold dream into a reality? What groundbreaking technologies and strategies will pave the way for our future on Mars and possibly beyond?
Well, at first, you would have to have a life support system because Mars has a low-density atmosphere, only about 1% the density of Earth, and it's primarily CO2. Now, over time, you can terraform Mars. Terraform means make it like Earth, essentially. And if you warm Mars up, there's a bunch of frozen CO2 that will evaporate, densify the atmosphere, and you'd actually want kind of global warming on Mars. So Mars is about 50% further away from the sun than the Earth. So it gets about less than half the solar energy that Earth does. It is highly likely that Mars had liquid oceans, albeit a long time.
How the fuck does he know all this shit? Because he's apparently the smartest and the richest man in the world, right?
Because he's lying. Like, he says it in a way that's so convincing, like, yes, we'll just we'll just fucking change Mars into Earth. Yeah, well, right now it's a bunch of CO2, but we can change that. We can change Mars into Earth. Like, come on, dude, how fucking crazy do you have to be to think that? How fucking crazy do you have to be to think that? That's like me going to Mother Earth going, yeah, Mother Earth, we're gonna change her into Mars. We're gonna put a bunch of, what we're gonna do is put every city is gonna blow out CO2, and we're gonna blow out CO2 for about 20 years, and in 20 years, fucking Earth will be Mars. And he says it in such an arrogant way. Think about that. It sounds stupid. Like really, really dumb. Really, really dumb.
Mars's geological history could unlock secrets about planetary evolution and the conditions necessary for life. It's a world of extremes, with the largest volcano and canyon in the solar system, yet it echoes similarities to Earth's early days. What if Mars holds clues to life's origins or the fate of our own planet? Imagine uncovering fossils or microbial life, proving we're not alone in the universe. The potential for scientific discovery is limitless. But why go to Mars in the first place? Is it for the pursuit of knowledge, the survival of humanity, or the sheer challenge of it? What drives our fascination with this red dot in the sky, compelling us to reach for a world so alien yet so familiar?
Well, I mean, the Mars thing is really, like, if you say what is going to be really important to the preservation of civilization or life as we know it, more than just, humanity, because of course we would bring life as we know it to Mars. And there's no life that we can detect on the surface of Mars. There may be some subterranean bacterial life, but on the surface there isn't anything. So this would be the extension of life to another planet, or life as we know it to another planet. And I think would be a huge difference to the probable lifespan of human civilization and life as we know it. So it's sort of like an insurance policy, a life insurance policy for life collectively. And I think it's important that we become a multi-planet species, not a single planet species, but on another planet.
What the fuck does he mean?
This guy is...
It's an insurance policy?
That's another clue that he's lying. Like an insurance policy? Like he makes it sound like you could do this shit. And you can't do it. It's just all... It's fake. It's all fake. But he says it in such a way, and he has so much money. Look, I'm gonna try to compare it back to the 50s, right? So it's looping again, right? This time loop is happening again. Because to convince...
There it is. That's Mars, guys.
But
wants us to live in fucking capsules.
No, but to convince you that this is could actually happen, they'd have to have CGI. They have to have these very high, expensive edits of film that make you look like, wow, that looks like Mars.
This is AI. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They have to have that. Just like we had to have television in our living room, or someone had to have television in their living room
In the 50s and 60s.
for us to believe that they could go to the moon.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to, for us to believe that we can go to Mars, we have to have CGI fucking AI fucking versions of like, oh, look, that's the way it's gonna look. It's gonna look exactly like that. And it's gonna be exactly like that. And then this motherfucker's like, oh yeah, there's nothing on the surface. There's nothing on the surface. There's only some bacteria on the thing. We already know that it does. How the fuck do you know it's a planet? It's a whole planet. Where do you have cameras? Where do you have these things? He's just fucking lying. It's so fucking easy to see. It's so easy to see, but he has enough production.
And think about it.
To tell the story.
And think about it, Zero. Like, you have a point, because let's look at the moon landing. It's been how long? Almost 60 years.
Have we went back?
And there hasn't been any other footage.
Right. Like we haven't went back. We haven't went back and said, this is the station. And now we have a better camera. And say hi to the fucking moon. And say hi to the fucking Mars. We got worse at it. Like we fucking completely forgot how to do it. This is what I'm trying to tell the community. Or this is what this discussion is about. Is that they need the little slideshow. They need the little film. And then he comes off so intelligent. And he's like, fucking, they're showing you the film. They didn't show him talking. They showed the film of what he was talking about.
But yeah, in 50 years, society obviously advanced. Now we have cell phones. Now we have the internet. Now we have electric cars. But how come going to the moon hasn't advanced?
Like,
right?
How come
right,
leaving the planet? How come
leaving the planet hasn't advanced?
How come leaving the planet is the answer to humanity? As if the planet has no connection to us. Like he said it. Well, we need to go to Mars. This is an insurance to save the planet, to save humans. Like humans need to be saved from this planet because it's done. Like it's an empty can. It's a wadded up napkin. This planet is incredibly beautiful. This planet is incredibly abundant. This planet is going through whatever weather shifts, whatever cleansing it needs to happen.
There's big, headlines of UFOs now. Like, I just think that's strange too, right, Zero? Like, there's a lot of headlines, a lot of social media videos, a lot of headlines talking about there's UFOs, there's drones. We don't know what's up there.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, before we say there's UFOs, let's say there's drones. Because drone technology is pretty much the new way, even in anything, especially in warfare, So these drones, we think of drones and we're like, oh yeah, look, they take good pictures. No, these are very advanced. They're almost like they stopped making fighter ships, those F-16s and all that shit. They stopped making
They're just investing in drones now.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because they could make a drone that does 50 times more damage than a fucking whole $1 billion plane. We're in the new tech revolution. Okay, so now we have drones, right? Can drones have projectors that bounce off each other and create images and create sound? This is all a production, man. This is all a production. So just be aware of what's happening and how the manipulation works. The manipulation works because their technology gets better. But the only technology that gets better is the thing to tell you lies.
That 78% of Americans believe that the government is withholding information about the recent surge in drone sightings along the U.S. About half the respondents view the drones as a potential national security threat, with concerns heightened among these suspecting foreign involvement. According to federal agencies, residents have documented more than 5,000 drone sightings in the recent weeks. Officials say a majority of the incidents involve lawful drones, misidentified aircraft, or celestial objects. Despite these assurances, public skepticism remains high. The issue has drawn attention from Capitol Hill, where intelligence officials recently briefed lawmakers behind closed doors. Representatives from agencies like the CIA and Department of Defense stated that there's no evidence in linking these drones to foreign actors or malicious activity. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby indicated that sightings like these involve commercial, hobbyist, or law enforcement drones. Some lawmakers expressed dissatisfaction with the briefing. Scott Perry criticized the lack of detailed information in Raha.
And then they're like trying to pretend like all these politicians don't know about it and shit. Like it's fucking.
It's because it's a different type.
But what people are saying when they're looking at these drones, they're like the sizes of like a Chevy Suburban. That's how big these drones are. They're not like the little drones that we all think of. You know?
No, absolutely not. You know? Well, it's a different type of warfare. In Ukraine, they were deploying drones that carried some sort of a chemical that melted like metal. Oh, the same stuff that they used for the Trade Center when they cut the beams.
Yeah,
it cuts through metal. It's like a powder that if it hits metal, it starts to melt it. Well, in Ukraine, they were using drones and they were dropping it on tanks, and it was like the tanks would just be like. We're in a different type of warfare. People are thinking like World War II. We're in World War II. It's like thinking when you're in World War II, you're in World War I, where you're fighting with not a machine gun, but one of those ones you have to load the bullet one by one, right? So then you get to World War II, and now you have the machine guns that are shooting bullets like 10 at a time, right? Now you're getting to the new version, and now you got AK-47s that shoot 100 bullets at a time. You went from 15 bullets to now 100 bullets, and now you're in the age of drones. They're not going to use tanks anymore. They're not going to use those type of things anymore. I'm sure they will, but drones are a preferred version of war. And if you're at war with someone and they have drones over your country, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, like China has all this. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying, like, are they going to admit to that? Especially if they got slipping and they don't have enough, or they don't have an answer for it, or what it is, or it's just way too. The transitions are happening quickly, but it makes sense because if you're trying to put in something that, you know, there's a bigger picture that, you know, William Cooper talked about, that
they're just telling the public, hey, you're just seeing things. It's fine.
Well, they don't know how to address, like, okay, let's say, for instance, okay.
That's basically what they're saying, right?
Let's hypothetically say that it's another country and it has, how many drones? What? Let's just say 100,000 drones over some drones you don't even see. And apparently they're coming out of the ocean.
Yep.
So they're not even coming from like, they're not even flying from another country from the air like a plane would. They're coming out of the ocean. It's a different type of warfare. So we're kind of experiencing, and then they control the public by not telling us all the information that we need to know. Because if you're relying on news sources to tell you the truth, you're backwards. There's just, the technologies, it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time to understand that.
Have you seen the flying car, Zero?
No, I have not.
This is the kind of technology on display at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Thousands of spectators have turned out to get a glimpse of the latest gadgets. And Scripps News correspondent Jason Bellini is live in Las Vegas. And Jason, yesterday you showed us electric skis. What should we have our eyes on today?
Hi, Laura Jane. Well, I've got more electric for you. So the floor just opened about an hour ago here in Las Vegas. And the first thing that I was really drawn to was this. This is an electric vertical takeoff vehicle. In other words, like a flying car. And believe it or not, this thing's going to be available in the next month or two. And David Chimchon, he's here with me right now to tell me a little bit more about this. And it only weighs about 250 pounds. And so that means... Okay, well, here I am inside of this thing. And I tell you, this would be a lot of fun. And again, only
It looks like a
250
big drone.
pounds. That's really remarkable that you have something that is so light that you could put on your yacht. I'm planning to get one of these for my...
Just put on your yacht, right?
These guys are crazy.
That's what's coming, Zero.
Well, it looks like a big drone.
Right?
That you sit on.
They're just testing these drones already.
Like it's in the weight cars that are everywhere. We're in the technical revolution, and we need to be aware of that. We can't be caught slipping and like, oh, what is? We can't be like our grandparents that were like, what's an ATM card? You know, like we can't. My grandparent didn't know what the fucking MTA. He was used to cash. Oh yeah, I got $50, whatever. You know, it's like, oh, grandpa's the ATM card. What the fuck is that? We can't get caught slipping, you know. This technological revolution's happening. You know, crypto's happening. You know, cashless systems are happening. New technologies, new war tactics. I mean, and as you can see, no matter how rich you are, you can't protect everything. Look at that. Those guys, like, they probably felt like nothing can hurt me. Nothing in this world can hurt me.
What's going on? Hi. I was told that my house burnt down. I drove up. I needed to see it. I wanted to get some clothes for my son. The entire neighborhood is burnt down, but somehow my house does not even have a scratch. There's no fire damage. I went in, but the house next to mine is still on fire. So I'm going around begging anybody to come put out that fire to protect my home. Because there's no water. There's no water pressure. I tried to turn on the water myself. I would have tried to put it out, but I have no water pressure, so I have no way of putting it out. So you and your wife are just trying to go get bottled water? What? Yeah, so my wife went to get bottled water. I'm going to meet her down the hill, and we're just going to try and throw bottled water on it, but I don't know if that's going to work. You need a lot more than that. And so the firefighters said that you're basically not on the list right now? They said they had a list of places to go. They're spread thin. I understand. I really understand. Yeah, I know, but so you're just begging somebody, if anybody's got water and can help, you're about a mile down the road from here. Tell us your address. I'm at 615 East Los Flores Drive, Altadena, California, 91001. I'm begging anyone to help put out this fire. So he's got fire basically all around his house, and somehow there's no damage to his house yet, but it's only a matter of time, and there's literally no water to be able to fight it himself. Correct. Is there anything else you want to say? Help. Please help. I mean, from based on the size of the fire to the east of my house, it probably will take 5 to 10 minutes for a hose to put it out. That's it. 5 to 10 minutes, then you can go to the next place. And Chris Anderson, just so you
God damn.
Telling you, bro. Like, what? Why is there no?
They don't give a fuck about regular people, but all the water is, you know, with the wealthy.
Like, I don't know where did the water go? Fuck. What, they turn off the water for these guys or what?
Damn, that fire is really close.
And they're trying to put it out with bottled water? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work with that one. I mean, prayers go out to those people that are suffering from that. You know, it's just, we have to be all. This transition.
Elon Musk could give a shit about what's going on.
Right.
In California.
To him, they're like, oh, yeah, let's leave the planet because, you know, all those houses burn. Who the fuck wants to be here? You know, it's like, dude, this is the way it. That's why I love Native perspective, because it never had a place where you didn't have to deal with things like this, you know. And I think according to our communities, you know, we didn't live in places for very long before we, you know, we let it rest. We burnt it down ourselves and then moved on. Or maybe moved on before we were ready to let go of this area. Because everything needs to replenish. And no matter how sad it is of what's happening up there, the earth is replenishing itself. It has to clear itself out. It cleans itself out. And unfortunately, we're in the way. We're not above the earth. The earth is above us. The earth will claim things. It'll claim things with water. It'll claim things with wind. It'll claim things with fire. And it'll even claim things with earth, and that's an earthquake. We're not these beings that the earth goes, oh yeah, let's not hurt them. No, they have a really nice house up in the Pacific Palisades. Let's not mess with that. That's not the way nature works.
And these houses are $10 million, $15 million, $20 million.
Yeah. Heavy losses right there. But again, man, you built in a place where eventually Mother Earth was going to cleanse itself. And by the looks of it, it did, man. Those things are gone. They're like pretty much ashes. You know, even the metal melted. Like, well, kind of. And then also, too, you got to know how to read nature. Like, nature's reclaiming something for a reason. You know, what kind of energy is up there? You just got to start thinking about that, too. At one point, the wealthy have to pay for whatever they did or whatever they do. It's not that I don't have feelings for those that have lost anything and anywhere. I have nothing but love and respect and compassion and empathy. But I can't, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's an interesting moral whirlwind we're in. You know, because those guys, they get to have enough money to go to a hotel and or whatever. You know, I know they're going to get free accommodations, but they do have enough money to go get stuff, buy a whole new wardrobe, buy whatever. I'm sure.
But the majority of them have enough money to just go off and buy another house. Maybe not as lavish as the one that they lost, but
yeah, they're not gonna
from a flip of a switch, they could just, you know, get another property. Yeah,
I doubt they'll be homeless. I doubt that those people will be homeless. The ones that are going to be homeless are the workers that lived on the properties, like the Mexican people that lived there. Because I saw a lot of those guys trying to get out too. You know, people that, you know, are
the nannies and shit.
Yeah, nannies, maids, gardeners. They probably live on site. You know, those properties are big. They need to be kept up. It's basically like a big Roman, like, I don't know, it's just weird. It has similarities to Rome and how Rome burned down. You know? I mean, those places were very, very wealthy. And if you were to compare it to any place, it would be compared to Rome. The wealth, all that.
But yeah, man, the whole Mars shit is pretty interesting because, you know, I just recently saw an interview where Elon Musk was like, look, like, for as much as I want us to go into Rome, the worst part about it is that I'm going to die before it ever happens. Think about that. I'm not even going to be able to see it.
Okay. So,
but I'm trying to establish it.
Again.
Which is a fact. I think that's what maybe is true, right?
Maybe because he never planned to get there. He never had.
So he's developing this whole scheme, this whole plan for him not to even see it. You know?
Well, because he can't do it. I think that's an easy way to cop out to say, "Oh well, we never did it. We never could do it." It's kind of like
he's not going to be alive in enough
50s,
years to actually see it flourish. You know?
In the 50s, I don't think they kind of thought of so we went to the moon. Now where we're going to go? We're going to go to Jupiter? You know, what's the production on that? But I think that you know, they're able to manipulate movies, TV, all that stuff and kind of guide the narrative. I think they do the same thing with social media. You know, social media guides our narrative. It's kind of like the new news, the new TV shows, the new movies, all rolled into one. And it's always on your person. And you can access it anytime you're bored. And how many times are you bored a day? You can be standing in line. The first thing you're going to do is whip out that information, right? And start fucking scrolling through whatever you can figure out and find out. But we're in that age of manipulation because if they manipulated us through TV and movies, what are they doing with social media?
I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected,
Similar to X, starting in the US. Now, who owns X now? Elon Musk.
Right.
Fucking weird, bro.
We're in the tech transition.
And these are the guys that really run the world. This fucking piece of shit, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, they're the ones running shit.
Them, Jeff Bezos.
All
them. But notice, all of them are tech people. None of them are oil. Remember back in
and
the
they're
day,
mega celebrities.
Remember back in the day when George Bush was in office? Everybody was oil. Everyone that was around him, all the people that would talk like this guy is oil. That's gone. Now we're tech.
in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce...
But you know what it sounds like? It sounds like they're making all social media platforms like TikTok. Because the main thing on TikTok is censorship. Like the people that use that platform, they censor themselves. They don't post certain things. They don't say certain things. And they're telling you, no, we're giving you free speech. But if someone tells us that you're doing something bad, we're going to look at it. It's the same thing. It's the same censorship. If they don't agree with the topics that you don't trust third-party platforms to be.
They said they're going to cut back censorship of immigration and LGBTQ, like you know, if you were making fun of someone that was LGBTQ, you would get penalized. Now it's a free game. They can make fun of all the gay people they want. And now immigration, you know, remember when you would post something about immigration or being racist, then you would get flagged or taken down. Now it's free game. Like you could say whatever the fuck you want about immigration or immigrants, illegal aliens.
It won't automatically get flagged down. But if someone reports you, they're looking at it.
Yeah.
And you will get penalized.
Well, they're converting it from fact checkers to community notes. So if the community note, and do you know what a community note is?
No, I've
is
never seen
when they post something on social media.
It says this thing has content that you shouldn't. Whatever.
Yeah, and if people agree with it or disagree with it, comment below.
Well, they're censoring you, bro. They're trying to figure out, like, oh, do you really agree? Oh, you agree with fucking Palestine? Oh, okay, noted. Oh yeah, this guy reported you, so now you fucking are punished. You can't use this platform anymore. It's all a scam, bro. This is the way they get information, and it seems like they were caught off guard with TikTok, and now they're trying to make every platform like that. Right? I don't know if it was a big deal to be reported on Facebook. Have you ever dealt with that?
Yeah, plenty of times they would flag our account. They would
no,
take
but
down
that's
videos.
like a fact checker, right? Nobody went, oh, someone reported you for putting up bad content.
No,
it wasn't that. That's not a regular thing. In TikTok, there is. In TikTok, there is, like, you can do like a live and someone don't agree with you, and then he can report you, right? He takes your handle. He says, hey, this guy's saying racist stuff. TikTok automatically goes and warns them, hey, someone said that you are saying this, that, and the other.
It's not an AI sending you that message?
It might be. It might be. But the point is that someone snitched on you and now you're being addressed. They're very subtly training us how to get punished because we're so addicted to social media. We're so addicted to this stuff that now we're going to start censoring ourselves because, fuck, I'm not going to lose my followers. I better not say that. I better not say that about this.
Yeah, so essentially, instead of the AI censoring you, you're according to Mark Zuckerberg, the open forum, the community is going to censor you.
Yes. Instead of them going, oh yeah, let's put the fucking program, all right, anything Palestine, no, now they're just gonna go, oh yeah, this guy said that you're saying some shit that's bad, that's anti-Semitic, and you're posting about Palestine. Right? Someone in the community could say, oh, he's being, and it could be somebody who's
and Mark Zuckerberg snuck this in. He was like, yeah, we're not gonna take it down until someone reports it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because we just had AI taken down automatically because the AI would scan through keywords, right?
And social media is to train us how to censor ourselves. Because this social media comes with rewards. Now, in social media platforms, you can give things to people. You can give money to people. Like on TikTok, that's a big thing. I got gifted a galaxy and it's worth $25. So now you have an account on TikTok that gives you money. Like literally you could withdraw it and be like, okay, cool, I got $50. Now, when you do that, that person doesn't want to lose that ability to get $50 for his content, for his opinion, for whatever, his video. He doesn't want to lose that. So he's going to start censoring himself. I know this because when I got onto the platform, because you can get pretty big because the algorithms, like it'll feed it. It's not like the algorithm of Instagram. But I almost don't want to post my music on TikTok at all. Because something I say in my music will flag me.
Well, now, Mark Zuckerberg is claiming if you post your music on Facebook, it's not going to get flagged anymore.
Unless someone reports you. Unless someone gets offended by what you say. And that could be a rich Zionist. That could be somebody okay, so someone else has an algorithm searching for certain keywords, and okay, well, get a person to go fucking put a complaint on that.
He's coming off as if he's gonna make people more comfortable using the platform, right? Like, okay, it's more free game. Yes, it's a give and take because we're gonna allow more bullshit to be up.
But he also said that you would get penalized. I think something about getting penalized or getting strikes, or that's all TikTok talk. That's all the way that platform runs. That runs with, oh shit, like you could be doing something and then someone will say like, oh yeah, this guy killed me. And then they're like, oh shit, I got to start my live over again because TikTok's going to ban me and it's going to give me a fucking strike. And you just see the dude freaking out. He's not freaking out because he's letting down his followers. He's freaking out because he probably makes about $100 to do it. And he doesn't want to lose that $100. So he's going to start censoring himself. I know because I'm doing it. I don't want to put my music on TikTok because I don't want to get banned. Not that it's giving me money, not that I have a lot of followers, but that's the way the algorithm subtly kind of makes you feel. It's programming us. Social media is programming us to censor ourselves. And yeah, we'll have some rebellious young individuals and we'll have some rebellious older individuals, but not everybody's going to agree with us. And there'll be somebody in the community that don't agree with you. I see it all the time. Because there are those Trumpers. A Trumper could report you. Be like, oh, yeah, this guy fucking said some crazy shit. And now your social media platform is gone. I know how much you realize. Imagine if Underground Hip Hop Blog, they're like, oh yeah, we got to report that you put some fucking racist shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And you got one more strike. And then someone comments something else that you have no control of, and now boom, third strike, fuck it. Your whole fucking platform is done.
Yep.
And your monetization. It's kind of the same thing that happened to Fresh and Fit. They freaked the fuck out when they got demonetized. Think about it.
Yeah, a lot of shit's changing, right? Like Facebook's changing their policies. Canada's fucking down the shitter.
Canada's freaking the fuck out.
They're all following Trump's steps.
Right. And people are
Mexico's more right wing now, right?
And they're challenging, they're challenging the US on everything. They put this like report out on fentanyl. Because I guess the New York Times put out a thing that they did this like expose. I don't know if it was a video or photos of people making fentanyl or mixing fentanyl or creating fentanyl, and they only have gloves on and they only have masks on and like their skin's exposed, right? And so the Mexican president came out and brought scientists, brought DEA people that bust people, and they said, this is impossible. People have died for getting 2 little grains of fentanyl onto their skin and then passed out after that. You can't prepare fentanyl in this way. So the New York Times is trying to exaggerate our production of fentanyl. To create fentanyl, you need laboratories, you need exhaust fans, you need professional equipment to create this synthetic opiate. And doctors, and so she's challenging the New York Times. So that's what I love about Mexico, and what the new president is doing is that it's coming back like with answers, right? Like recently today, I think Trump said, oh, we're going to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. That's what he said. And so the Mexican government comes out and does a speech and was like, well, maybe let's just name, the U.S., I don't know, she said a name that was like partially Mexico. But, he's crossing boundaries, bro. This is going to be an interesting thrust into this 2025. Mainly how nature's talking to us, through the fires.
Yeah, clearly Elon Musk does not believe in Mother Nature at all.
Well, he feels like he could throw away.
Or you think he does, and he understands, hey, maybe this fucking planet is doomed.
I think that he puts a lot of money into very, expensive technology like rocket propulsion and things of that nature. But he also sells a story, the story of fantasy of going to another planet and living and refixing the planet.
But have you seen how his ships come down from space back to the launch pad? It's fucking a trip where these arms come out. And they fucking grab the thing and then they put it onto the ground. Yeah. Like these big, gigantic fucking arms.
Right.
They grab the fucking ship.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah. And then they bring it to the ground.
Right. And
weird shit.
And I think that's like a new way of like billionaires are flying. Because I guess it breaks the atmosphere. Not atmosphere, but, it gets really high.
Yeah. It's not a ship like a plane. It's like it's a rocket that will come up and down.
Right, that you could fly from like fucking New York to London in like 7 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. So that I feel like, maybe possible. Yeah, crazy technology. Okay, I'll do that. But leaving the planet, nah. Discrediting the planet as something that you could, toss away like an empty soda can. Nah, I don't believe L. Ron Hubbard's fantasy or Von Buren or Elon Musk. They're putting us through a time warp that's exactly the same as the World War I, World War II. Now we're in World War III. But this World War III is different than World War II. Remember, technology advances. It doesn't go back in time. World War I was very different than World War II. And World War II is going to be very different from World War III. This is why we see drones. This is why we see more like cyber attacks. I believe maybe the war is already happening. But they're not letting the public know because it's no longer tanks and planes and bombs. It's different. It's different. They're using technology in a way that is manipulating, controlling, and not advancing it, and actually making the earth feel like it could be thrown away.
Oh no, I was gonna play this. Have you seen this William Shatner?
No.
He went up to space apparently with this fool Jeff Bezos.
Oh, no way.
From Amazon.
And a Fox News alert, Blue Origin's flight that is going to take Star Trek's Captain Kirk to space. It's on hold. We are still at least 45 minutes away from launch. William Shatner, who turned 90 earlier this year, is about to make history as the oldest man to go to space. Let's bring in former NASA astronaut Mike Massimino and Neil Cavuto, who interviewed Shatner earlier this week. Neil, one of the things that's interesting to me about this is that, as I understand it, space travel has always been for the very young.
No. There's a scene of him going into space.
Actually up there?
Blue Origin, the rocket company owned by Jeff Bezos. This is the moment that the Star Trek legend, the original Captain Kirk, experienced zero gravity after setting a new record as the oldest person in space at 90 years young. And it is what he said when he came back down that made me want to invite him on the show. Listen to this.
What you have given me is the most profound experience.
So this is Jeff Bezos. Like, he has his own space program. He's trying to compete with Musk, bro. He's trying to get up there before him.
Right. Because there's money in it.
I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary. Extraordinary.
All right. I'm glad you bring this
Earth,
up.
After
You
hitching
want to
a
know why
ride
I'm glad you did that? Because who is that dude, William Shatner?
The fucking Star Trek guy. He's the one that
A
gave everyone
TV character. He's a TV
Why the fuck would they
character.
pick him to go up there, right?
Because they want to go, oh, look, we can make the story come true. You see, William Shatner played an actor who was in space and traveled to different planets and traveled to different. They're putting the puzzle together. Going, look, we're doing it. Can't you see? We're gonna go. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Mars because we put this motherfucker, William Shatner, who was an actor in the 70s, playing somebody who traveled space.
And the reason why he was so emotional and crying to Jeff Bezos, he's like, look, dude, like
it came true.
It came true. Yeah,
it came true for me. I was in there for 10 seconds, right? But no, people will go back and watch Star Trek and go, damn, we can go to other planets. We can see other things. It's all a story, a narrative. You know, Jeff Bezos didn't give a fuck about this actor. He was looking at him condescendingly like, yeah, whatever. We made the story come true.
Yeah, we just picked you because, you were the lead actor in Star Trek. And yeah, you fucking gave us all this fantasy.
Yeah. And now we put you in space for 10 seconds. And now you're going to fucking go, yeah, we did it. And it's all a fucking lie, dude. They're just going really high. He didn't go into a different galaxy. He didn't go into warp speed. He didn't see another alien. He didn't go to a different planet. He didn't go to a different planet and come back. He didn't even go, beam me up, Scotty, and fucking dissolve and go into another portal. I remember that's what they used to do in Star Trek. That's how old I am. Fucking beam me up, Scotty, and they would fucking dissolve.
Hey, but I was stuck on that show, bro. Like, it was some fascinating shit, dude.
Well,
like,
it was well written.
It was wild, right?
It was well written, just like the story that Elon Musk is writing about us going to the mall. I mean, to Mars, right? He's writing this elaborate story, and he's putting together TV shows and, fucking full-on documentaries about him talking, and he's going on Joe Rogan saying that we could do it, and fucking we're believing it.
We're believing it, but, unfortunately, I'm going to die before it ever happens.
Right. I'm never going to see it happen. Well, you're probably saying because you never could make it happen. Remember, L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer who made a religion called Scientology. Von Buren was an ex-German scientist who used science and educated people to convince people that we've gone up and down the moon and we fucking can communicate. And now we're fucking in different galaxies and we're taking pictures of things and bringing it back to Earth. We're putting fucking William Shatner into a rocket, launching him into fucking space at 90.
Fucking so sad that they did that to the old man, bro,
Dude,
right?
He's
Like
fucking 90, dude. He's
yeah,
like,
dog. They're
oh,
like, look, motherfucker, you're getting on this shit, whether you like it or not, dog.
Exactly.
We need you for publicity.
Yeah, we're
right?
beaming you up, Scotty. We're fucking beaming you up, Scotty. It's all a TV show. It's all a movie. Nothing of this stuff will impact you or your future generations. These are books that they're writing. These are movies, TV shows, whatever you want to call it. It's all fantasy. But it intrigues you. And the technology is good enough to convince us that maybe it can happen.
The term space travel, it's being used very loosely right now, dude. Like, right? Space travel. Oh, yeah. Elon Musk said the first person that invents space travel will be the first trillionaire.
Right.
Will be richer than anything or anyone you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Why is that, though? Because everyone's going to fucking want to buy that ticket?
No, because he's boosting his own ego because he's going, well, the first one that can do it is going to be a trillionaire, and I'm almost there. I'm halfway there. I just need to do one more thing and then fucking be there, and then it'll be me. These guys are in a fantasy land, bro. Like, they're in a fantasy land, and they just like to control people and manipulate people with their lies and whatever spiritual practices they have. But I'll never be deterred from the rhythms of the earth that we live in now. She is still good. Yeah, she'll clear out a way for new growth to come. And yeah, it'll affect a lot of people. It will change people's lives, because that's the way the elements work. That's the way the fire works. That's the way the wind works. That's the way the water works. That's the way the earth works. I'm not arrogant enough to say that I'm done with the earth. I'll live the rest of my life here. I'll have good moments. I'll have amazing sunsets and amazing sunrises that connect me to this planet and this Mother Earth. None of those stories will distract me from the truth that I'm one with it. I'm one with the earth. I'm one with the skies. And we're just having an experience. We'll see you next Wednesday. La Sukamatli Ometeo Tonansi.